Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm in beautiful, sunny Trenton, Georgia, and it's December the 2nd, 2022. I've decided to do a citywide photo walk. Today in the evening, I've got a couple of hours. I just wanted to walk around and see what I can find in Trenton, get some photos. Today I'm rocking the Leica CL, which is now an out of production camera. And there's still new ones around, but they're at camera shops apparently. They're working through the stock. But for some reason, they quit making this one. I have the 35mm Voigtlander M-mount lens, which is a full-frame lens. I like the M-mount lenses because of their compact nature. If I take this off, the black portion here is the M-mount lens. It's tiny. It gives me a 35 f1.4 capability. Oh, look, I can't find the silly, there we go, lens mount. In a lens that's just super tiny. On here, 35 is about like a 50mm field of view, which is what I normally shoot on the SL2 and over my other cameras. I like that field of view. With that, let's get this camera out. Let's go see what we can find and take photos of. I've been walking around the back streets of Trenton looking for interesting things, stuff that I normally don't see. And it's kind of interesting in its own way. It's kind of not in the same way too. But you know, I'm just trying to look at the town in a way I haven't in the past. And I'm trying not to overthink the compositions and all of that, but basically I'm trying to capture the essence of small town America, you might say, and kind of show that photographically. So I've always been enamored with these doors on this little building. It's just right out of camera frame over here. But I'm also going to make my way over to the main road here in a minute and get some of the commercial stuff and kind of mix it up a little, as I say. I don't know that I've got any particular goal here, but it's interesting just to see from a photography-oriented viewpoint the town. Everybody wants to go to the big fancy cities to get all of these really cool street photography, images, and I would like to do that too, but the reality is I just can't. Most of the time I have this. Something I have noticed about small town America, when you're doing a photo walk, everybody eyes you with the greatest of suspicion. You do not walk around in a small town with a camera and take pictures of stuff. Everybody's worried to death what you're taking pictures for. It's really, really, really funny to see how suspicious people are. I got something to tell you about this camera. Whew, look at that backlit scene. Let's sit down with the sun to my face where the exposure will be right. What I was wanting to say, now I might can sit on that step up there and that would work so much better because you can see right in there, there's an elevated platform. Let's go over there. That way I can set the camera down and I don't have to hold it with one hand and talk with the other because I'm going to show you some stuff. This is kind of interesting. Yeah, let me do this. Let's kick out the legs here. And if we don't like all this, we can easily edit it out. This will probably be the last day I shoot with this Voigtlander M-mount lens. And it's got a few shortcomings that are limited mainly because it's an M lens. You learn these things over time. I'll take this lens hood off. But it's a nice little compact lens. I like it. For street photography, it's great. Because a lot of times you set your aperture to f8, for instance, and then you set your exposure distance on infinity, and then it's just everything from what appears to be about 8 foot to infinity is in focus. That's real handy because you can just then point shoot. Set your ISO to auto, get your exposure like you want, and just point shoot. Well, that unfortunately is not what I do a lot of. It works okay when you do that, but when you're not, it's frustrating because the tab focus, here's the focus control. You got to grab this little tiny tab, and it's intended that your hand rests under the camera like this, and you just drive it with one finger. And as you can see, that works mostly, and it works pretty good, but it's not what I'm used to. So if you've learned on an M lens and you've learned to drive with the tab with your index finger like I'm doing, then it works great. Problem is, I didn't learn that way. I learned holding the focus knob, driving it with my hand, and maybe resting your finger under it so you can drag your finger along it, and it should be a continuous ring. Because I learned on Nikon cameras, and that's how the focus is on pretty much all SLR and DSLR lenses. Honestly, until I got this Voigtlander, none of my lenses had this functionality. Unless you're really into M lenses, this is not great. And honestly, on a lens as long as a 35, it's a little frustrating. I would rather have like the 21 or a 24 mil where your depth of field is real deep at f8, and that way you can just set it to f8, set your hyperfocal distance, and not even touch the lens, just shoot. But it's not that way. So yeah, this lens will probably go on eBay for long, and I'll just liquidate this little guy, sell it, because I'm not using it to its fullest potential. It's a wonderful little lens and it shoots beautifully, but I have another lens that's by TT Artisans. That's a 35-1.4, and it is a DX lens, so it's smaller and lighter, and it's L mount native, so I don't need this adapter. Now, unfortunately, that changes one of the functions. It moves the focus magnification from this knob to this up button. Seems like a kind of a minor thing, but it's kind of hard to reach that button to where if you're naturally sitting here, you just reach over and hit this wheel and you can zoom in, zoom out, and it's super convenient. That I do like about it. The M mount, because the M adapter L brings that functionality over. What I may end up doing is getting an L mount lens that actually is for the camera so that I can have the functionality like it should be. But for now, I'm going to put that TT Artisan 35-1.4 on it, because before I was using it, and it's a wonderful lens for the price. It's like a $75 lens, brand new. I want to say that was shipped to my door too. It was dirt cheap, and it takes stellar photos. I mean, it's punching way up. Just to put it bluntly, it's punching up, and I was impressed by it. I bought the Voigtlander thinking I was going to get better still, but what I ended up getting was this weird these two little focus. I wish the focus ring went all the way around, or that's the aperture ring, my bad. I wish the aperture ring went all the way around, because I miss the aperture ring a lot, and I end up adjusting the aperture inadvertently thinking it's the focus tab, because they're both the similar. I mean, one's got serrations and one don't, but you don't notice that when you're in a hurry. What you notice is the size and shape of the connection, and you can see that if I have them both right there, they're about the same size. So if I'm in a hurry to make my focus adjustments, I'll inadvertently push the aperture. So I like the fact that the TT Artisan has full circumferential focus and aperture rings, and they're on opposite ends of the lens. They're not really close together like these two are. I mean, literally, you can rest your finger on both of these at once. It's the same overall length as this one with the adapter, but it's lighter because everything is smaller. The glass ain't as big, you know. I like the camera. I really don't care for the lens. I've gave it a fair shake. I've used it for a long time now. I don't know when I got this lens. I'd have to look back through the videos. It's been a long time. Okay. I didn't think anybody was here. Maybe they come on at a certain time of day. I don't know. It is 20 after 5. It's kind of an odd time, but I'll take the lot. Maybe it's not. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's still good. But I wanted to share my thoughts on why I'm getting rid of the Voigtlander. It's not because it takes bad photos. It's because I'm not used to the ergonomics of an M-mount lens. If I shot M-mount cameras, I would probably keep it. they have their place, and there's a certain demographic of people that love M-mount stuff. It's just not for me. I thought it was going to be, but it isn't. Now, some of the newer Leica lenses have the aperture ring and the focus ring that go all the way around. So I'm not going to get rid of my adapter because I like the functionality it brings to the table. It does map some controls that you can't remap manually without it. So with that, I think I'm just going to head on back towards the truck now and see if I can get a few more photos along the way. The traffic's starting to pick up a little bit because now it's quitting time for everybody and they're all going home from work on Friday. But I don't know if you noticed it yet or not, Trenton is not a really happening town. Like, there's not a lot of foot traffic. It's just the way it is. Everybody drives around. It's an interstate exit town. The interstate's literally right over that way, about 1/8 of a mile. You know, a few hundred yards is the on-ramp right up there. Where you see that traffic light that's red at the top of the hill with all the red lights, that's the interstate. I'm almost back to the truck now. If you haven't done it, hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the channel, of course. And you know, you can look through the extensive catalog of lens reviews I've done, or the blogs and street photography and all that. And I do regular live streams. I've got my live stream stuff working. So until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I want you to get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.